Good day, everyone. In our previous lectures, we have looked at an introduction to virtual reality. We have understood the basics of virtual reality. What is it required to develop a virtual reality experience? What are the different types of hardware, softwares, and various other things in virtual reality? We also have looked at Unity, which is our intended software that we'll be using for developing both the virtual reality and the augmented reality experiences. We looked at various basic functionality, we looked at various features in Unity and so on. In our today's chapter, we will be starting with developing a first virtual reality experience, which will be directly translated to our cell phone. For doing so, we'll be using Unity as well as we'll be using Google VR Cardboard. So let us look at the details of why are we using a Google VR Cardboard and how do we actually use it. So our upcoming lesson talks about the details of the Google VR Cardboard, why we are using it, and how we will be using it. So let's look at it in our upcoming slides. So as you can see in my slide, this is basically a Google VR Cardboard. It's a very simple cardboard, the design of which is already available on the Google's website. The way I make usually this is I refer to this design and I use a good cardboard, a bit firm cardboard to actually make this entire design. The only thing I have to order or install is the lenses. These lenses are very specialized for creating that VR experience, and the details of these lenses you can find on the Google's website. So this is why we are using, because this is very freely available. You can make it as cheaply as 400 to 500 rupees. You do not have to spend thousands of rupees to actually develop or see this VR experiences. And all it requires is any kind of cell phone, any kind of Android cell phone, or even an iOS cell phone works on. So it's independent of what kind of software is used for the Google Card. So why do we use this Google Cardboard? Let's look at it in our upcoming slide. So why use Google VR? First, you might feel that it is a very simple VR cardboard, but it has a lot of opportunities. You can do a lot of things with it. You can walk in virtual reality. You can do a lot of things. You can do teleport. All these things we will be covering in our course. So even though the Google VR cardboard is very simple, it still has a lot of opportunities as enclosed to it. And we will be exploring all these opportunities also. Second, as I talked earlier, the entire design is available on Google's website. So you do not have to search any place else. If you just put in Google the Google VR cardboard design, it will give you all. The only requirement is a cell phone, and it does not matter what kind of cell phone is, as long as it's an Android system or an iOS system, it can work with the Google VR cardboard. The entire SDK is easy to use with the Unity platform. The entire SDK, which is freely available online, is easy to use the Unity platform, and hence our intended purpose is to use the SDK of Google and Unity to develop our VR experiences. And finally, it's ideal for any prototype testing in VR and demonstration. So this thing I found it very important, because when I work with students, or when I work with startups, they don't have to spend a lot to demonstrate their VR experience or to show people what their VR experience is. They need just a cardboard and a cell phone. And that helps in reducing their cost, that helps in quickly prototyping and testing out how their VR experience is actually working. That's the use of this Google VR. Hence, because of all these reasons, we'll be using Google Cardboard as a part for developing our VR experiences, which we'll be doing in our upcoming chapters. The Google VR SDK, as I talked about, the SDK is freely available on this current website, which is a GitHub page. You just have to download the Google VR, and you can then import that VR in any of the Unity instances that you're working with. We'll be looking at it in much more detail, but do download the Google VR SDK from this website, because we'll be using that a lot in our upcoming slides. How does it look? Let me just quickly show you how does the entire thing look like. So here is my Unity. So over here, I have created a basic example using the scenes and the elements that we talked in our previous chapter. And as you can see over here, I have used a Google VR. I have imported the Google VR SDK into the Unity platform. And if I play the entire scene, so you'll be seeing how this Google VR SDK is actually useful. So this is the first person view or the virtual reality view that you can see I am controlling in the Google VR SDK. So this is how we'll be using Unity and Google VR SDK. Much more details in our upcoming chapters, but this is how we'll be actually developing and using our entire virtual reality experience. Some of the important functions that we'll be looking at is first the emulator. Since we are emulating the virtual reality in Unity, we'll be using a function called as GVR editor emulator, which emulates the entire experience. So that helps in developing of virtual reality experiences, visualizing the virtual reality experiences, and much more. So we will be using that. Next is the reticle pointer and the event system. I will talk more about reticle pointer when we talk about first person view and when we look at events in Unity. So we'll be talking a lot more about these functions, but we'll be using them a lot for our virtual reality experiences. So do keep these in mind. So just to summarize, we looked at why we are using Google Cardboard and how we are using Google Cardboard and how we can use the Google VR SDK and some of the important functions that we'll be using. Let's look at our upcoming chapters of how all these into detail and how do we use them to develop our virtual reality experience. So let's look at them in detail in our upcoming lectures. Thank you very much.